In the studio with me right now, as promised, Doug Martsch, formerly of the Tree People, and I have to point this out all the time, now with a band called Built to Spill. And it's actually a band that you formed, Doug, after the demise of the Tree People.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what happened with the Tree People. God, I loved you guys.
Then I don't know what happened. We went on a tour, and then a couple of us quit, and the rest of them
the kind of thing
made
that
a couple
after
more records.
Couple of, like, a situation where it's just no longer really works with all the people involved, or tired of touring. I heard that you were not a real big fan of going on the road either.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that was one of the main reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, at that point, you moved back to Boise, right? You were living here in Seattle at the time?
Actually, we'd already, the bass player and I had already moved back to Boise.
Okay.
Before that. We did a tour after we moved back to Boise.
Okay.
So, but, yeah. Okay.
When you look back at the Tree People days, because like I said, I was a big fan of a lot of what you guys did at that time, you shared the songwriting responsibilities with Scott.
Uh-huh.
What would you say, did you guys contribute together? Would Built to Spill ever do any Tree People tunes in your set?
I don't know.
Maybe. And Scott's got a new band as well, right? They changed their name.
Mm-hmm. It's he and the other guitarist, or the last guitarist from Tree People.
Okay.
They live in Boise.
You want to talk a little bit about the Tree People breaking up, other than the touring
there wasn't really too much to it. It was kind of, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff. I don't really want
to
make you say anything.
I think everyone pretty much knows what happened, anyone that's really interested,
Okay.
And, it's fine, though. We're all good friends, and
worked out for the best.
Yeah, everyone has bands they like a lot right now, so.
Okay,
yeah.
And the name of Scott's new band again is?
Stuntman.
Okay, Stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do they have a record coming out?
They actually have a few 7-inches coming out, one by themselves, and they have a split single with Arches a Loaf coming out.
Oh, wow.
And a split single with Overwhelming Color Fast.
Okay. Okay, well, let's move on to Built to Spill, your second full-length album.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The first one came out on CZ.
Right.
Ultimate
Alternative Waivers.
Yeah, right. With a brilliant cover.
Right. My girlfriend came up with that.
That was great. And then the letter on the inside of the CD is equally.
Yeah, a friend of mine found that in Portland.
That's great. Perfect. That record was great. Your new record, however, has come out on a label called Up.
Right.
Here in Seattle. How did you get hooked up with the folks at Up?
Oh, a good friend of mine, Chris Taquino, runs Up Records.
Yeah, I'm going to have Chris on the show in a couple weeks.
Oh, great.
He's going to co-host the hour.
He's a terrific guy.
He's a nice guy. I've met him. He's okay.
Anyhow, he started up a little label, and we were friends, so he said he'd put out a record for us.
Great. And you had already had the album in the can. It was already completely recorded by the time...
No,
Okay.
No, we talked to Chris in the spring, and then we recorded it a little later in the spring.
Okay.
In the summer.
Right. You've also been busy with another project, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I was hoping to get you to fire up. You've brought an acoustic guitar, and Brent here has his cello. We're going to hear you actually use... This is only the second time I've had a cello in the studio. I'm pretty excited about it, yeah. Kind of classes up this show a bit, so... Built to Spill in the studio. New record is in stores now and doing very well, by the way. Let's have you do a song.
Once. When I was little, someone pointed out to me some constellations, but the Big Dipper's all I could see. The brontosaurus must have stood 1,000 miles high. That brontosaurus laying on its side, a
Built to Spill, 107.7 The End, right here on The Young and the Restless. A track called Big Dipper from the new record called There's Nothing Wrong with Love. The second full-length release from Built to Spill out on a label called Up. And you guys have been doing quite a few shows in the Northwest. And just recently did a show with the Halo Benders, another band that you're involved with. Doug, tell me a little bit about that, how you got involved with starting this project involving Calvin.
Tree People were on tour a couple of years ago, played a show with Beat Happening, traded tapes. I liked them a lot. I called Calvin, sent him a Built to Spill tape when that was done, and asked him if he wanted to do a record together.
Cool.
He said he would.
What a weird combination, you two. It's great hearing Calvin's very deadpan vocal style and sort of your, very kind of
whine.
Well, yeah, but it's more of like a pop. You've got a very, your voice has a just a real good, almost storytelling kind of whine to it. And hearing the both of you work together, it's great. I like the record a lot. So you went in the studio together. You did it down there? Did you do it in Calvin's studio?
He has a little studio in his basement.
That's where Beck recorded. Yeah, that's where Beck recorded his record, and where Calvin actually did the Dub Narcotic records.
Right.
Right. Okay. Great. And that record's out on K Records. Cool. Okay. Is that been strange for you? I mean, doing a show with him and then going on with Built to Spill as well. It's kind of like double time on any given show that you guys play together.
Right. No, it's a lot of fun.
Now, you guys had a member change in Built to Spill.
Yeah, the rhythm section switched. Ralph lived in Portland, so we kicked him out. And Brent Netzen, the other bass player, didn't have a bass, so we got a different bass player.
Okay, all right. Built to Spill in the studio, once again, new record called There's Nothing Wrong with Love. You've got another tune. This is called Scarin.
Yeah, this is a Halo Bender song that Calvin actually wrote the words to and sings. But
okay, it's 107.7. The End.
You're scaring me. You don't seem to care whether I am here or if we're on a trip or what kind of place this is. Once upon a sideshow freak, there could be love between another bunch of attitudes, but now our time is all used up again. You're scaring me, you're not caring about anything. You're an empty book, you took what you could have, and then you took a bath, washed all of us away. It's so hard to be your friend. It's extra hard to watch someone like you go off again and again. You're not making sense. Keep your evidence. You can't prove to me you're not scaring me. You're scaring me again.
Built to Spill, 107.7 The End, a track called Scarin, a Halo Benders tune.
right.
All right. So when you don't do many interviews, I can tell you're sort of uncomfortable in this one.
Oh, the radio ones are weird.
Okay.
It's all right if you're talking to someone on the phone because they're just gonna, misquote you anyway.
Right. But the radio ones are, it's all
Sort
coming
of
out.
Weird.
Have you done many? I mean,
No, I don't. A couple. No, not really.
Okay. Talk about going on tour and what are the things that... I mean, you like to do shows in the Northwest. You've done quite a few throughout the Northwest, but when it comes to a full-on national tour. It's not something you're really interested in doing right now, right?
Right, but we're doing it like Tuesday. We're going out across the country.
Does it freak you out at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would get tiresome to me.
Yeah, it's really scary too. Just driving, you know. I'm really paranoid about wrecking or criminals or cops or
or people
anything.
just screwing with you the entire time.
But it'll be fun to go, play, meet different people across the country. I mean, it's fun too. And I have a little family. That's the worst thing about it.
Right.
A little family that I have to leave behind. It's hard for them and me.
Right. Phone bills must get kind of intense when you're out on the road as well.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about Boise. I've not been to Boise. I have a friend that I know you're friends with as well, Potato, over there. You know
Potato?
Potato. Tim Johnstone?
Tim Johnstone,
Okay.
yeah. You call him Potato?
I call him Potato. That's what I've known him by for a
Right.
long time. So he lives over there. I've still never been there. How would you say things differ from Seattle to Boise?
They differ a lot. I mean, well, it's just a small town. Not small, but I don't know.
Is it the kind of thing where you can go out to a club on any given night and see an all right band, or is it
Not on any given night, but I'm a bartender at this club that a lot of bands from out of town come through and play. So I mean, you can see some stuff, like a lot of Seattle Northwest bands pass through, and other bands from across the country. You see good shows every once in a while.
Are you guys one of the believers in doing all ages shows? I know a lot that you have been all ages, and a lot of bands, including that seems to be something Calvin's very into as well, doing only all ages shows. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone that's in any kind of punk band prefers all ages shows. So I agree.
An important thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to do for kids. Plus, it's funner to play for kids. They're usually more into it.
Yeah.
They usually have a better time.
They're more enthusiastic about the whole thing because they're there for the music.
Right. Exactly.
Cool. Let me ask you this: from your early days in writing music, and now you're incorporating cellos in your songwriting. Talk a little bit about your songwriting, how it's changed from back when you were writing punk rock songs to maybe writing punk rock songs that are a bit more mellow now.
I sort of always have written pop songs that I would 4-track. I even think a lot of Tree People stuff is pretty pop, Oh
yeah.
And it could definitely be mellower. That's just the. I mean, a lot of those songs could have been built to spill songs and could have been played a little slower and not so much distorted guitar. So I don't know. I don't really think that my songs have really changed all that much. And like the cellos and the other things we screw around with in the studio, those are just I knew someone in Boise that played cello and asked him if he was into it, and just as easily he could have flaked off and not come over to my house and practice with me, and there wouldn't be cellos on the record. But,
right. So
just
it wasn't
the fact
that
he
imperative.
showed up, and the fact that I was able to do it is the reason I did it.
Cool. Well, it's a nice touch, and I think the record's pretty amazing as well. And I know you're geared up to do a song called Car with a Cello.
Yep.
This is from the new Built to Spill record. In the studio here, the new record is called There's Nothing Wrong with Love.
You get the car, I'll get the night off. You'll get the chance to take the world apart and figure out how it works. Don't let me know what you find out. I need a car, you need a guide who needs a map. If I don't die or worse, I'm gonna need a nap. Best I'll be asleep when you get back. Wanna see it when you find out what common stars and things are all about. Wanna see their faces turn to backs of heads and slowly get smaller. Wanna see it now. Wanna see it now.
107.7 The End. It's Built to Spill. Doug and Brent, thank you both for stopping by for this. I know you don't like to do these things, so I really appreciate it very much. That track there is called Car, and it's on the new Built to Spill record. There's Nothing Wrong with Love. Make sure you catch the edition of Up Records. Chris Taquino coming into the studio to share with us what he's got on his new label. A bunch of great new bands, including the new Juned full-length record, Mike Johnson solo record, Mike being from Dinosaur Jr. And thanks again, Doug.
Thank you.
Car